This broadcast is brought to you by Colby Brooks with Century 21 Right Pace Real Estate and buyfrombrooks.com. Let Colby Brooks handle all of your real estate needs. It's great to see everybody today on NEA Report as we continue to follow the active number of COVID-19 cases in Arkansas, and it's dropped again. It's down below 1,900 today, which is good news considering that we're about to see restaurants reopen starting on May 11th for dine-in service. Now, it's going to be a limited reopening. We'll talk about those limits coming up. Plus, Jonesboro's curfew is being lifted this week. It's not been much of a curfew, but we're going to be talking about that next and all of the changes that are on the way on NEA Report.
Now, Stan Morris reporting.
It's great to see you today on NEA Report. I'm Stan Morris. It's the 2 o'clock hour of Wednesday, April 29th, 2020. And we tell you those hours because if you watch after the fact and you're checking out the numbers we're telling you, you might want to get updated on those because they can always change. But as of right now, Arkansas is at 1,884 cases. You can see the headline at neareport.com right there with 59 deaths. That means we are at 3,192 cumulative cases to date. And of course, that also means with the math of that, 1,249 have recovered. You take 1,249 and 59 out of 3,192, and you get our active case total right now, which is 1,884. We're more interested in that number than the cumulative cases to date because this number, 1,884, has actually gone down over the past few days. And we'll show you a chart that gives you an indicator of that. It's not gone down a lot. And as one person mentioned, Trish Thielemeyer, in comments, that it's probably too early to see that and to celebrate. And she's right. But we also want to tell you good news whenever we see it. So today, 81 new cases. Montgomery County, which is nowhere around here, also had their first case. 93 are currently hospitalized. That's gone down a little bit. 18 on a ventilator, also a number that's decreased. We've learned about a third of the deaths have been in nursing homes, according to the Secretary of Health, Dr. Nate Smith. Also want to mention, speaking of nursing homes, that Lawrence County's nursing home, the Walnut Ridge Nursing and Rehab Center, I'm going to scroll down to get to that story because I want to talk about that right now. They are reporting more deaths than are on the map at the moment, 3 deaths. As of Tuesday. Now, the map's not been updated to show that. However, what it says, according to Fran Cavanaugh, the state representative, that there have been 42 positives in the facility at this time. That's not counting 21 staff who have also tested positive. 3 positive residents are in the hospital, and there have been 3 deaths. We say that because if you look at the numbers, which we'll go through right now, Lawrence County is only showing 1 death at the moment. Now, it's possible that that death may be attributed to a different county. If they're counting the county that the person came from and not the one that they resided in when they passed. But realistically, those should be showing up in Lawrence County. The latest numbers, let's run through them. We'll do it somewhat briefly compared to where we've been doing in the previous days. Randolph, 17. Clay at 3. Cleburne up to 72. Craighead County now at 70 positives. They're still showing 0 deaths as of this moment. 39 recoveries, 833 negative tests. Crittenden County, a major number there, 178 positive with 990 negative. A little over 100 have recovered. Moving through the numbers still with Greene County at 16. Lawrence County now at 45 according to the official numbers, but we know that that's actually going to be at least around 60 based on the number which said from Fran Cavanaugh with over 40 patients and with 20 at least employees there also facing it. So that number is going to go up. It shows 1 death from there. That number will go up as well. Mississippi County 14 positive. Poinsett County at 19 positive now, with half of them, 8 having recovered, and Sharp County at 6 positive, 3 recoveries there. A couple of notes you'll see here on neareport.com next to those numbers, trying to make sense of the stuff because it doesn't always make sense. Sometimes we're seeing numbers go down that should never go down. Well, that just means perhaps at least that an error was involved whenever the number was put in. The United States over 1 million positive with over 58,000 deaths, and in the world over 3.1 million positive with over 200,000 deaths. A major number there. We've talked about tracking the growth. Thanks to our friend Dr. Pat Carroll, that's what we're doing with these graphics. Let's show you what we were talking about yesterday and today, how the numbers of active cases cases have actually started to go down a little bit. Now, I've said a couple of times that they've gone down, and they did during the inside of a 24-hour period, but then they would go up by the time the day was over with. So for accuracy, I guess we want to talk about when they've gone down and the day has ended with them down. And in that instance, we're only seeing a couple of days, right, where we've seen those good numbers, but that's where we're at right now. The orange number kind of going down shows that we've seen a drop in active cases. The blue number, blue line, always going to go up. These are new cases and new tests run by date. You could see a lot of testing happening right here. If you look at the very far right end with the orange line that's almost as high as any other previous day except for one maybe back on April 23rd, it looks like, or such, that means more tests were performed in the past 24 hours than pretty much at any point in time so far. And even with that being the case, we're seeing new cases still showing a drop-off, at least in the trend from the past 4 or 5 days. Good news? We hope so, but of course, it's all going to change potentially when the state reopens. We'll see if those numbers hopefully hold steady or continue to drop, because if they don't, the governor's already said he may have to make some decisions such as going back under a lockdown. So restaurants are going to begin limited dine-in service starting May 11th, and we know there's a lot of restaurants out there that are going to be thrilled about this. I saw Skinny J's was doing a curbside pickup service again this week in Jonesboro and maybe other locations too, I'm not sure, but it's been hard for restaurants that make their entire life, business owners that make their entire life around an establishment that's not allowed to serve the public anymore. Well, phase one of this is going to allow that to happen, but not at full capacity. The governor's saying it's going to be limited to about a third of the restaurant's normal limit, with strict social distancing guidelines. They're going to be enforced. I've got some of those on the screen. Physical distancing between patrons and tables. You can't have a table that's full with everybody sitting arm to arm with each other. That's not supposed to be allowed anyway. Of course, it's probably still going to happen, but it's not supposed to be. Reservations are encouraged because then people won't have to wait inside. People won't be stacked up on top of each other. Face coverings, gloves for staff. And the Secretary of Health mentioning, and those gloves, don't just put a pair of gloves on in the morning and wear them all day and assume you're fine. Every time you make contact with someone or something with those gloves, they need to be changed if they're potentially a contaminant. So if you're grabbing money with your latex gloves and then you turn around and handle food, that's wrong. And you're not helping at all. You're not even helping yourself, for that matter. You're just putting another coating of skin over your hands and then touching everything. It's a false sense of security. A lot of people aren't handling that right. It's sort of like face coverings that people pull down instead of leave up over their face, right? Or go to the Mayo Clinic without one at all. Frequent hand washings, pre-order when possible. We've talked about reservations, so it's the same principle with that. No groups of over 10 people. Senior hours are encouraged, and we like seeing that anyway. No self-service, of course, meaning you can't go get your own refills. That's what that means. Sorry, Barn Hills. Clean, disinfect tables, menus after each meal. Bars and entertainment within restaurants are prohibited, meaning you can't have a concert and a stage with people packed right around it. You can't have the bar where people are at it. However, there can still be somebody at the bar operating it, according to the governor, if the restaurant serves drinks or whatnot. That's phase one. If we make it, phase two is a less severe version of this, and phase three, which is going to be down the road, is when regular operations resume with no restrictions. The governor also announcing today an Arkansas Ready for Business grant program, a $15 million program to assist companies that are going to restart their business and are going to have to spend some money to do it. All industry sectors are eligible. So if you've got to reopen your business and buy hand sanitizer stations, protective equipment, cleaning supplies, one-time expenses, maybe thermometers or temperature checking devices, well, this could be a big bit of help for you. With $1,000 per full-time employee, up to $100,000 per company. You can apply at the link right there, arkansasedc.com/COVID-19. It's at neareport.com if you want to link up. We learned yesterday that Arkansas state parks are going to reopen as of May 1st. Camping for in-state residents' RVs will be opening then. Contactless check-in and check-out will be in effect so that you don't have to get in somebody's face or make contact with someone. Still social distancing, of course. Campground bathhouses not going to be reopened for obvious reasons. As of May 15th, park restaurants and museums, exhibits, retails, marinas, rental equipment, and others be opening for limited capacity with social distancing enforced. Also, as of May 15th, cabins, lodges, rent an RV, they'll be resuming with reservations limited to Friday through Monday for in-state residents only. We've talked about this already. It's been a tough week and a tough several weeks and months, for that matter, at Walnut Ridge Nursing and Rehab, and our thoughts are with everyone there. We learned as of yesterday morning there had been 3 deaths total. And of course, the website from the Arkansas Department of Health does not represent that yet, meaning we know at least 2 more deaths are going to be added to that total at some point from there. At least that's what we assume. A video was posted yesterday by the Jonesboro mayor. You can see it right here. The mayor talking to residents about all of the tough times that they've been going through, and there have been a few lately, right? We've had a tornado, we've had a pandemic, we've had other tornadoes nearby us. Crazy times. We call it Crazy Town here, and we've not left Crazy Town in a while. Well, the mayor is saying that coming up on Friday, it's going to be good news for you late night folks. The curfew is going to be lifted, the nighttime curfew. Now, I always mention this because I got to tell you, at least 2 or 3 times I've gone out past 10 o'clock because I work late and I have to go get something to eat some nights and I'm not cooking, or I'm sick to my stomach and I don't feel like cooking, so I need something like a Sprite, right, from McDonald's. I've done it several times. I've passed several officers. I've never once gotten pulled over for this because clearly they're not implementing a broad, wide-ranging curfew that applies to everyone, and the police have said as much. If you have legit business, McDonald's wouldn't be open past 10 o'clock in Jonesboro if this applied to everyone. So if you had legit business, it didn't apply to you. If you're going out to party or rev your engines up and down my road, which happens every day, then maybe they would have stopped you and said, what's going on here, right? But that curfew, what limited effect it did have, is going to be gone this coming Friday, the mayor said. He also wants to help the local economy to get back to its vibrancy, which is something we heard from the Arkansas governor today as well, talking about Arkansas ready for business. The mayor's text, the full text was actually sent out, and it talked about how that the March 28th tornado was brutal. But then the COVID-19 pandemic before and certainly after has been brutal to us and the whole world too. So the steps the mayor says are to, number 1, help lead our local economy back to vibrancy. Number 2, lifting the existing nighttime curfew, which we talked about. And number 3, ongoing assessment of city finances. Of course, if you haven't figured it out yet, this is going to be devastating to the sales tax bases of communities all across Arkansas and across the nation and the globe for that matter. But in Arkansas, too, we're not just seeing what will be a temporary reduction with the sales tax based off of the coronavirus pandemic. We just had half of our retail center destroyed by a tornado that did as much as $500 million worth of damage here, according to some estimates. Incredible numbers, and it's going to be an incredibly challenging time for Jonesboro moving forward. However, we're looking forward to getting on the road to recovery, so to speak, which starts with us getting life back to normal. And hopefully all of our leaders are right in their assessments, and we're about to make the right choices by doing so. We'd love to know what you think in chat. Do you think it's time to reopen, or do you think it's happening too soon? Tell us your opinion right now. We always appreciate our feedback from viewers and readers of NEA Report. It's always an honor for you to spend time with us here on NEA Report. Thanks for doing so, and we would appreciate a like or a share right now if you think it's worth your time. Subscribe or follow us on YouTube or Facebook, respectively, and support us on Facebook, too. 99 cents a month. You get exclusive access to fun stuff every week. Stan Morris reporting in Jonesboro, and you're up to date from NEA Report.